What's up, Banter fam? Welcome back to the show. It's been a few days since I last did a show, so I hope you are all doing well. I'm in Miami right now, in this apartment. A bit of a new location from the normal studio, so bear with me if the lighting's not perfect, but I'll be working on it over the next little bit to get it up to scratch. But yeah, what a crazy week I've just had. Been in Miami, been at the Bitcoin conference. I've got lots to tell you. In today's video, I'll be showing you a Luna strategy to help you double your Luna stack and earn yield on your existing Luna holdings. It's going to be a massive show. Let's get straight into the show. So I spent the week in Miami at the Bitcoin conference. I just want to recap a few of the things I learned, a few of the major takeaways and my opinions on the current space at the moment. So I did have the luxury of chatting to Michael Saylor. We talked a little bit about the Lightning Network, which was cool to do. I met Pomp. I met Aaron Rodgers, obviously the NFL quarterback. I met multiple big figures in the space, and I also had a lot of fun in Miami, as you can see. So it was a really awesome experience. And I'm very grateful that I got the chance to go. We worked on a documentary style video. We worked on recording that, which should be out tomorrow. And we basically covered the entire conference. And there were some really interesting developments that I don't think got that much media coverage, but I think are going to be really massive for the future of the space. So I want to recap before we get into anything Luna, exactly what I learned from the Bitcoin conference and how I think it will impact the space going forward. And the first thing that I learned at the Bitcoin conference was the Lightning announcement by Jack Mallers. He obviously announced that Strike is now offering Lightning-powered payments, both online and in-store for some of the biggest merchants. This will mean online and in-store, you'll now be able to purchase using the Lightning Network goods from stores such as McDonald's, Walmart, Macy's, Bed & Bath, which is one major step forward for crypto in my opinion. I don't think that this change in itself will have drastic effects on the market right away, but I do think it puts in important framework for the space going forward, because the Lightning Network is a piece of technology that we do need to utilize to be able to facilitate crypto payments. You'll be able to spend dollars now, which converts into Bitcoin and automatically converts back into dollars, which is then received by the merchant. Eventually, we can use this technology to power crypto-to-crypto transactions between payees and merchants. So I think that this Lightning announcement by Jack was one major step forward, and that was one of the biggest things that we saw out of the conference. The next major thing that we saw is the nation state adoption happening. So we saw El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. Now we are seeing more and more nations come to the forefront when it comes to adopting Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as legal tender. Honduras is now making a step forward as the Central Bank of Honduras has now expressed its intent to go ahead and accept Bitcoin as legal tender. They're going to be doing so in a special economic zone called Honduras Prospera. So all these little things in terms of nation states coming on board, adopting Bitcoin, paves the way for the future of the industry as a whole. We all know that I love altcoins. I know that you guys love altcoins, but it is important to take a step back and realize that the health of Bitcoin as a whole goes a long way into dictating where the market is going in the future. So having more nations adopting Bitcoin, having more regulatory framework around Bitcoin is obviously an essential part of being able to pave the way going forward. And I think that was one of the major things that I took out of the Bitcoin conference. It was just how much is happening, how much rapid development is happening on that side. I know that regulation is the biggest roadblock to Bitcoin's adoption in the future, but I think that it is something that is being rectified. It's going to be a slow process, but I'm bullish on regulation as a whole because it's important. These big institutions, and this is another big thing that I learned in the conference, these institutions, they want security. If they're going to be giving billions of dollars over to DeFi protocols, billions of dollars into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, they're going to need more security and more regulation around purchasing crypto assets to be able to feel confident and feel comfortable allowing their stakeholders having a vested interest in crypto. So I'm bullish on regulation as a whole. And the conference, which I think had 35,000 people, made me bullish on crypto as a whole long term, because it kind of made me realize the bigger picture of what is actually happening and unfolding. And it's important to get that perspective because we know the day-to-day volatility of the market can cause quite a lot of emotion sometimes. So that was important. Just quickly, MEXC, this giveaway, we are still running it. You've got 1 week, guys, to get involved. So after a week, we're going to be ending the giveaway. And basically, you stand a chance to win $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. So we're teaming up with MEXC because we want to give you guys back for watching the videos and for supporting us. And the Bitcoin conference gives us a way to do that. We can give you guys Bitcoin for signing up to MEXC and starting a MEXC account. So all you need to do to win $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, we're going to be giving $1,000 to 5 users, is go into the link in the description. It's super simple. Sign up for a MEXC account using the link in the description and deposit $100. You don't need to trade the $100. You literally just need to fund your account with $100. You can do so with stables from another exchange, or you can do so by purchasing USDT using a credit card. Just deposit $100 minimum. Leave it in your account. Don't need to trade it, and then you win a chance by next week to win $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. No brainer, in my opinion. It's a win-win. We're giving back to the community with MEXC, so make sure you get involved using that link if you want to win some free money, basically. But I want to get into this Luna strategy because I want to show you guys what I'm personally doing to maximize my Luna stack. So we have seen the Luna price come a little bit off the highs recently. I think we saw around a 30% decline in tandem with the market from $1.20 back down to $80, which is still maintaining a bullish structure for Luna. If we do look, we are getting, we haven't printed a lower low or anything. It's still a lower high. Bullish structure is still intact. And getting these pullbacks is still a healthy thing for the market in general. But I want to be able to keep earning yield and keep earning some passive income during times of volatility. When the market drops, we still want to be earning passive income. This is all what my show is about. We want to cover DeFi, and we want to explore ways that we can maximize our Luna holdings. So one of my researchers and I came up with a strategy to be able to accumulate Luna. And we did some maths, and I'm going to show you the maths right now of how you can potentially double your Luna over the next period of around 6 months to a year, depending on how the Luna price performs. You can potentially double your Luna stack. And I want to run you through step by step a very simple strategy utilizing the power of Anchor Protocol. And then for the degens out there, I'll be giving you another strategy which you can use in tandem with the base strategy to earn extra yield. And you can potentially more than double your Luna stack. So I want to present you guys this strategy today because I think it's valuable for you guys to hear about. And I think that you guys can start utilizing it because it's a great way to be able to earn yield on your Luna. It's something I've been doing for a long time, but I don't think it's talked about enough. So let's get straight into the strategy, guys. The strategy is using Anchor Protocol, and it's using putting up your Luna as collateral to be able to borrow UST and continue to increase your Luna holdings. I'll run you through now step by step how I'm doing it, how you can potentially double your Luna stack by utilizing this strategy. So it's very easy, and I'm going to run through this Excel here of how to do it. So let's say, for the sake of maths, that the Luna price is $100. It's 81 right now, but just to keep it easy, let's assume it's $100. It doesn't change the statistics at all. So if Luna is $100 and you buy $100 worth of Luna, you want to bond it in Anchor Protocol and put your $100 Luna as collateral into Anchor Protocol. So you go into Anchor Protocol, you can come down to this B Luna tab here and provide. You obviously need a Terra Station wallet to do so, and you can put in your 100 Luna in exchange for B Luna. Now, what getting B Luna allows you to do, which is bonded Luna, is borrow against it to mint UST. And this unlocks a very powerful loop on Anchor Protocol to be able to increase your Luna holdings over time. So what you want to do is borrow against that asset. So you're putting in your bonded Luna into Anchor Protocol, and you are receiving UST in exchange. For example, if you deposit 100 Luna at a $10,000 cost, then you are essentially at a 30% LTV, borrowing 3,000 UST. So based on a $100 Luna, if you come in and deposit 100 Luna as B Luna, then you can borrow 3,000 UST at a 30% LTV. Now, the LTV that you use in terms of putting up your Luna as collateral entirely depends on your risk tolerance. Now, for this strategy, we're going fairly risk averse, and we're going to assume a 30% LTV. However, you can go a lot higher, and I'll show you a strategy in a second for the more degens out there, but just assume it's a 30% LTV for now. So what you're doing is you're depositing your Luna into Anchor Protocol as B Luna, putting it up as collateral, and you are borrowing UST. You're borrowing $3,000. So you put it into here, providing as B Luna, then you click borrow, and you set it so your LTV is 30%, and you borrow $3,000 worth of Luna, based on a $10,000 stack, of course. So now what you can do is you can take this $3,000 that you've borrowed, and instead of depositing it as for 20% in Anchor Protocol, you can actually use this UST to rebuy Luna. So you can use this 30% or $3,000 worth of UST to go into Astroport, and you can swap it under the swap tab for UST for Luna. And what this is doing is it's giving you more Luna against your original stack of Luna. Now, there are risks, but let me just go through the strategy and show you how powerful this can be. So if you use that money to borrow, to buy more Luna, you now have 30 extra Luna. So you've created 130 Luna out of the initial 100 Luna that you had. Your net value is still $10,000, but now you essentially have exposure to $13,000 worth of Luna. I must preface this by saying that in order to execute this strategy, you must be bullish on the future of Luna long term. So if you're bullish on the future of Luna, this strategy is going to enable you to maximize your yield. So now what happens is Luna will presumably appreciate in price. If Luna appreciates to $120 from $100, your net asset value has now increased. So now you own 130 Luna. 130 times 120 is 15,600. So if Luna increases from 100 to 120, you now have $15,600 worth of Luna against your original stack of 10 versus your original stack of $10,000. But you have $3,000 worth of debt. So the net assets are $12,600. So essentially, what you can do is you can move some of the Luna that you have liquid, and you can move that into Anchor as additional collateral. So just to explain how this works, you are putting up your bonded Luna as collateral, you are minting UST, you're using that UST to buy back Luna, but since the Luna price has increased, your LTV is now dropping. So you can put up, now that it's safe to do so, now that your LTV is lower, you can put up more Luna as collateral into Anchor Protocol, and you can borrow against that to buy even more Luna. So you're essentially leveraging Anchor Protocol every time Luna goes up in price to get yourself back to a 30% LTV to purchase more Luna. And this creates a loop, which I've got a nice, easy graphic to show you guys, a loop that is enabling you to stack Luna over time using Anchor Protocol. Now, obviously, it comes with its risks, because if you get liquidated, well, you do run the risk of getting liquidated if Luna drops a lot in price. But the 30% LTV means that Luna would need to essentially go down more than 60% for you to lose your funds. So it's very unlikely that that's going to happen. And if that does start happening, if the Luna price does start dropping, you're going to have ample time to come in and top up your UST balance. So this is the strategy here. You can obviously pause the video and if you want more details, step by step of how to execute this strategy. So now that it's safe to do so, as I just explained, you can now move some of the UST that you have in your wallet. So just remember, I am not using my Luna to deposit back in. I'm keeping most of my Luna liquid. It's not until the point that Luna goes up in price by more than 20% that I'm putting the Luna that I bought back into Anchor. I'm actually keeping most of it liquid in this strategy because it's a safer way to play it. But if the LTV does drop, if the Luna price goes up, you can put in more Luna as collateral. So in this example, you would be putting in an extra 5 Luna from the liquid Luna that you used by swapping UST to Luna. And you can put in this extra collateral to borrow even more capital, which you can use to buy Luna. So as you can see, it is a loop that loops round and round, because as the price of Luna goes up, your LTV is dropping, which gives you more leeway to borrow against your Luna and increase your Luna stack. So you're basically using Anchor Protocol to leverage. And I think this is an interesting strategy because most people focus so much on this earn tab using stablecoins, but not a lot of people focus on this borrow tab, which I think is equally as powerful if you're bullish on the future of Luna long-term like I am. So it's something that I'm doing, but you have to be wary of the liquidation risk as well. If time passes and Luna hits $140, the net asset value is now 105 plus 31.5. So you would have taken a 100 Luna position, and you would have essentially created 37 Luna, 37 additional Luna if the price goes to 140, just by using the looping strategy. So not only have you created an extra 37 Luna, you've also earned extra money on that Luna because the price of Luna has increased by 40%. So now the amount of assets you have is $15,330 versus $10,000. So in this scenario, if Luna goes to 140, you would have made $5,330 and you would have maintained a 30% LTV. Now you can go higher on the LTV. So one thing that you guys can do is, instead of aiming to always keep calibrated at a 30% LTV or loan to value ratio, you can keep calibrated at an LTV of, let's say, 50%. And what that higher LTV enables you to do is essentially borrow more Luna, which will mean that you are assuming a little extra risk, but you can earn extra money on this because you're able to borrow more UST against your Luna, which you can then use to buy more Luna, essentially. So that is the strategy that I'm using here. But I want to show you a way for you degens to be able to scale up a little bit, because even though this strategy comes with its risk, I would still call it relatively safe. I still think there's ways that we can level up the strategy to be able to earn more yield. One of the ways we can do this is something that Danku suggested. He says there's no need to make the difficult decision to sell Luna at an all-time high. You can borrow against the portion you feel to sell at a max LTV of 76% on Anchor Protocol. So what he's saying is that you can actually max out. You can put in your Luna for B Luna, and then you can click borrow, and you can max out your LTV on Anchor Protocol, which means you are running the risk of getting liquidated if Luna drops by 15%. However, you are essentially willing to run that risk, because if you get liquidated, you're getting liquidated at a higher price, and you are essentially taking profits. So a lot of people found themselves in the position where they got into Luna at, let's say, $20, and the Luna price absolutely skyrocketed. So they were wondering, should I take profits? Should I buy more? What should I do? Well, a simple strategy in this scenario would be simply to max out your LTV, get an LTV of 76% on Anchor Protocol. Worst case, you're partially liquidated. Best case, you never sold your Luna and you can borrow against more UST. So that is one strategy that I think can definitely work for people that want to take a riskier approach. But there's one approach which I mentioned a month ago that not a lot of people were talking about at the time, but I haven't covered it since. And I do think that it is still a very, very valid strategy today. And that's Prism Protocol. So what you guys can do is, instead of keeping 100% of Luna in your wallet, as the strategy I just showed you suggested, which means every time you borrow UST, you're buying back Luna. What you can now do is you can take 50% of that. So keep 50% in your wallet liquid, but then now you can take 50% of this Luna that's in your wallet just sitting there, and you can put it into a protocol like Prism to earn an additional 40%. And I'll show you quickly how to do that now. I did do a video on this in even more depth, which will be good for you guys that don't know the strategy. I've left a link in the description to the video and the thread in case you are confused. But I did outline the Prism Protocol strategy, which enables you to earn 48%. I think it's dropped to like 28% now, but it enables you to earn a pretty decent yield on your Luna. So you can follow this strategy I just showed you, but you're taking 50% of the Luna that you are buying using your UST, and now you're funneling it into Prism Protocol. It's very simple. You go into the refract tab here. You refract your Luna for P Luna and Y Luna. So you're putting in your Luna. It's essentially going to split it. Then you go into stake. You can go into the Prism farm, hit stake, and you can stake your Luna. Remember, there's stake your Y Luna, sorry. And I would keep my P Luna in your wallet just in case you need to redeem your Luna. Because remember, P Luna plus Y Luna equals Luna. So anytime you want to redeem your Luna, you'll need the P Luna, which is the principal Luna, and the Y Luna, which is the yield-bearing asset, essentially the revenue. You'll need them together to get your Luna back. So I'd keep that in my wallet and stake the Y Luna, and you can earn 23%, and you can boost it using an AMPS boost to get another, let's say, 20% plus. I've even seen scenarios of it going up to 200%, but I think now it's a little more competitive with the state of the market. But I know that's a little complicated, so I did outline it already in a Twitter thread, which I've got as a link in the description. And you guys can go through that if you want more information on how to be able to execute that strategy. But if you guys want a simple graphic that you can screenshot and that you have to be able to follow this as well, this is essentially what you do it. You're taking your Luna balance that you got from borrowing through Anchor Protocol. You're bonding it for B Luna on the provide page of Anchor Protocol. You're keeping a 30% LTV. As I said, you can go higher, up to 50% if you want, but I would keep it at 30%. And then you use half of that to purchase Luna and stake Prism in Prism Protocol. And then you're using the other half to keep liquid in your wallet in case you need to repay the Anchor Protocol yield. Remember, this strategy isn't without its risks. Obviously, you can get liquidated. However, if you're pragmatic and you continue to monitor the market, then you will be able to jump in and top up your borrow tab with either additional UST to repay the debt or additional Luna, which will enable to get your LTV back down if you're creeping up into liquidation territory. So that is one way that I would do so. I think the Prism Protocol strategy is great. because you want to be able to use 50% of your Luna to earn more yield. So if you're willing to take the extra bit of risk of having some Luna out of Anchor Protocol, or out of your wallet, I should say, then Prism Protocol is a great way to do that. Links in the description to the Prism Protocol strategy in case you guys are lost. And of course, you also have the Excel here that I showed you, which goes step by step through how to execute this strategy. The title of the video is Double Your Luna, and you can actually use this to double your Luna, because following this strategy, you've made $5,330. If the Luna price continues to increase, you can double your Luna stack whilst benefiting from the principal appreciation of the Luna token, which is very powerful because you're getting the additional growth from the added Luna that you've now got in your wallet, and you're also getting the growth from the Luna, which has obviously gone up in price. So I do love it as a strategy. Links in the description for that. And more importantly, get involved in the giveaway, guys. The MEXC giveaway only has a week to go. So if you do want to be able to win $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, only 5 users are going to win. You need to get involved and deposit $100 into a MEXC account. Absolutely no risk. You can only gain, potentially win $1,000. So click the link in the description. Takes a minute to sign up, and that will enable you to enter the giveaway. But you've only got a limited time. So if you want to win a Bitcoin, you'll need to get on that fairly quickly. Thank you guys for watching the video. I will be back on EST time at 6:30 p.m. every night. It's a new time zone. So you guys might need to reconfigure your routines if you want to watch the daily shows. But I think it's also good because the US is our major audience. So I'm happy that now I'm able to stream under the 6:30 time slot and capture the US audience, because I know a lot of you guys are in the US, or at least in South America, or in this time zone. So I will catch you at 6:30 p.m. EST every single day. I'm back for good, guys. I will see you in tomorrow's video, where I'll be revealing a very interesting strategy that I want to share. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.